G'day guys and welcome to the Centre Bounds for this, our mid-pricer options for the forward line. I know you guys know all about these players, but stay tuned regardless. Mate, this video is borderline irrelevant, but
Yep.
we'll just do it anyway for completion's sake.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. If you look at our forward lines, I mean, I've got Horn Francis in my team at the moment anyway. No one else. And then the next one's a mid-price, so I'm hoping is going to be a keeper for the entire year. I guess
Yep.
similar to a few of these other ones, they're guys you can just lock into your team at the start of the season. Forget about them. Maybe they don't even have 2 buys, and then you're laughing.
Exactly. So we're not going to waste any time hyping this up. But we will start on an interesting note because we can't have this video be that boring, can we? We're going to
No.
start with Harry McCrae is here, but this could be Harry McCrae or King Charles, whichever one you
Yeah.
want. Given the start that the Carlton Blues have, it's a little bit of a Mickey Mouse run, and they could do really well. They have a very favourable fixture with no early bye. You think that Carlton will see some improvement on last year? Last year they were decimated by injury for a lot of the season. You anticipate that it's not going to be the case again in 2025. So you'd anticipate you're going to have a strong bounce back from the Blues, and if the Blues are bouncing back strongly, it's got to have a lot of goals being kicked by both Harry and King Charles.
I mean, that's what Carlton need, right? If one of them goes bang, cool. When both of them goes bang, cool. When none of them goes bang, Carlton goes, So I think last year I had not Harry, I had Curnow in my team for a long period of time, and it worked out okay. He more break glass, but at that price, you really want him to be a keeper. We just spoke about off air about Mickey Mouse fixtures. I know Carlton have a very good fixture to start the season. A lot of teams that maybe not depleted backlines, but backlines that can't handle both. If one or both of them are fit heading into the season, it could be an option. Now you'd have to be one of those guys that maybe like pick and mixers and full cool. Like first 3-5 games, I'll get this guy and then look to trade him off and do whatever. A few of us did similar things with Hogan last year. It could work out. Not that we're saying go and do it.
Correct. It's just an option for those who want to try. And we've got Harry here because Harry does have the extra string to his bow where he can do some ruck work. 8% of ruck contests last year and 10% of CBAs. So it really depends as well on the structure, what they're going to go with the Blues. Are they going to go with DeConning as the number one and then maybe have Harry as the backup? Or are they going to play both Chitane and DeConning at the same time? So one to keep an eye out on the preseason.
Yeah, definitely. Next one up is Jai Simpkin. And talking about someone to watch over the preseason, this guy single-handedly, alongside Humphreys, who we spoke about in another episode, saved my seasons last year. He's not the flashiest type of player. He's not the best type of player, but he can score hundreds on a good day. For 29K, there is a lot of upside there, I guess is the right word. Maybe you look to pick him up a little bit cheaper after a price drop. The only problem I have with Jai Simpkin is that there's a lot more good players coming through. One being Luke Parker, who we'll talk about shortly. But he could do it again, Joe. Better team, not being such a dud. He just needs to stop kicking it to the opposition.
Yeah, that might be the problem. He kicks the ball to the opposition too much. They might be like, let's move you away from the midfield then and pluck you more as a half forward, because we saw what he did in that last game of the season. 3 goals, 1. Not a bad result. So could be someone that you see end up playing a bit more half forward to supplement the addition of a Luke Parker, maybe giving some more opportunity to Georgie Wardlaw, who of course is a heart and soul player in the engine room. So yeah, one to look at. Not for me personally, but yeah, always open to being convinced otherwise. I am.
Yeah, more than happy to bring him in halfway through the season post buy at 350K, and then hey, presto, covers you.
It just feels like there are other. Other
definitely.
options that are a
To
bit
start
cheaper.
with.
Like even this dude. Even this guy, he's moved across from Richmond to the Fremantle Dockers. He's the one that
Shay Bolton, everybody.
Yeah, Shay Bolton, man. I think he's one that really not enough people are talking about this preseason when it comes to their starting team. I think this guy is being a little bit not quite disrespected, but being a bit forgotten, pretty similar to the Fremantle team in general. I think they're going to feature really highly up the ladder. They're going to really shake things up. And he is a massive acquisition for the Fremantle Dockers. He will feature a little bit in the midfield, I imagine. We've seen how successful it is for other teams to put in a small forward to just have that dynamic ball movement and line breaking ability. He averaged 96.7 playing for a pretty mediocre Richmond side in 2023 that finished 13th on the ladder. Last year, he was checked out. We all knew he was gone well before the season was up. And for him to be checked out half hearted and still average just shy of 80 in a team that finished bottom of the ladder, you can totally see where the upside is with this guy.
Yeah, 100% right. I guess kind of he plays well at Optus as well. And I think Richmond not being a premiership team anymore, not competing as hard, kind of let him go that way. But Freo are going to look to give him the ball. I mean, they've just spent two and a half first rounders and getting him into the team. They're not going to be like, cool, well, today you're going to be relegated to the forward line, whatever. They need that breakout pace that he's got from the midfield, and he's a really good pickup for them. So potentially he's going to do quite well. As you say there, Joe, you've got it up on the screen, 112 average at Optus. So, hey, if he's going to be playing at Optus every other week now, could work out a lot better for him.
Yeah, exactly. So, of course, that's taking into account that he's maybe beating up on West Coast over there, but he gets to play against West Coast twice now every year playing over there at Fremantle. So, yeah, Shay Bolton, I think, is one that isn't really that much more expensive than these other options. He's younger, in the prime of his career, and I love watching him play.
Yeah, he's a bloody fantastic player. Another one who has been a staple in our supercoach teams. Maybe not last year. Maybe some people got suckered into picking him in at 2023. But previous to that, there's like 6 years of really bloody good scoring, Joe. Jack McCrae has moved across, maybe for some more opportunity is the right word. I mean, he was played a lot at the Dogs, but not in the position that he wanted to be. We're hoping that he's going to move over for some bulk mid-time. And that's why he's in my team. And I assume he's in your starting team as well. We know what this guy can do. Jack still can't do everything. Is Jack McCrae the pick at 390K?
I think he is. The preseason reports are pretty good. They're pretty glowing. A lot of talk over there at the Saints about the need to have some more midfield assistance for Steele. And in comes Jack McCrae, who provides just that. He was obviously not given that opportunity at the Bulldogs last year. Was put to the VFL a few times, and when he did, look at it, he had 37 disposals there, 43 disposals here, and what's this? 46 disposals here. So ridiculous. The guy is certainly up to it. Definitely not going to be relegated to VFL. Definitely there to help out in the midfield, and all the preseason reports are backing that up. So Jack McCrae at 392K is here to stay.
There you go. Now, another player missed the preseason reports is Bailey Smith. And it's not even preseason photos, Joe. Yes. This guy has the rig to, they should do AFL. They could sell a lot of bloody calendars, mate. I'll tell you what. Bailey Smith, the Cotton On legend, the unkept secret. What else can you say? Poached from the Doggies to Geelong. But from all reports, he's doing very well and he's fit. He's ready to go. No more ACL problems. So it's great there. We know what he could have done at the Dogs. Maybe didn't get as much opportunity as he wanted, especially in his 2023 season. But if he has the same form as 2022, we're getting 100K, 100 scoring player for 389K in a team that wants him to play in the midfield.
Exactly. It's hard to turn that down. Prime of his career, training the house down. Paddy Dangerfield saying that he's going to play midfield. A few people are saying that he's going to be playing midfield as well. That's exactly what you want to see. He had 54% CBAs in 22 for a 98. If he's getting north of that, then you're getting an absolute bargain at 389k with DPP. Yes, he has the early buy, and that early buy is a very annoying one because it is shared with other important teams. But
Yep.
if we are getting an inside mid Bailey Smith, then you're getting a primo. You're getting a keeper right from the get go, which is absolutely worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a few teams that haven't had him. I guess kind of if you like a Shay Bolton, if you like a McCrae, you can only afford one. I can see potentially where you might not pick Smith, but otherwise, mate, get in my team.
It's a bit of a butcher with the football, unfortunately. Look at the disposal efficiency, not that great. And he has had some injury concerns when it comes to previous seasons. Hasn't really played out a full season in the last 3 years. So one to keep an eye out on that front as well. Plus, he
Yep.
plays for Chris Scott, and Chris Scott can't be trusted as far as you can throw him. Lohmann. You've been requesting
Lohmann.
Lohmann,
Now,
apparently.
Joe Danaher has left.
Yes.
But Lohmann without Joe Danaher was still going bananas. This is a kid that you think, okay, cool. You're an opposition. Let me paint this picture, right? You're an opposition player. You're playing league. You're just like, well, he's on 40. We're going to get some advantage. Bang. 5 minutes time. Lohmann kicks a goal, and a behind. Cool. He's on to 100. He's a freak. A lot of teams would have been very unhappy not to have him. Is he going to break out in our forward lines potentially without a Joe Danaher there? He's not the tallest type of player, but he can mark like no one else's business. So, mate, if they did not have him in the team, Brisbane were not winning that grand final, Joe.
Mate, he was on track for Norm. He was like, I think, had three or so goals to half time. He is an absolutely riveting player. Obviously, goals dependent. But at the same time, I mean, I'm seeing a game here. We had 90 Supercoach, only had the one goal, 14 disposals, 86% disposal efficiency. You know what I mean? Like this, he's pretty good. The team doesn't really necessarily need goals all the time, but at the same time, here again, 51 points when you had the one goal. So you're going to get variance. He's a small forward that roams a bit up the ground. Does also have the early buy. No doubting this guy's talent. If you've got him in a keeper league, you are absolutely laughing.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. I think that there's a few. Maybe we said the same thing with a couple of players in the last episode, talking about the mid-price and mids. Maybe not in standard, but definitely in draft. Chuck him in there. People are going to get this guy even exists. You're onto a winner. He's going to score a few hundreds this year. Maybe he jumps up to 450k at some point. But Brisbane, I've said it before in the midfield, teams have potential to have all these guys in the forward line scoring quite well. I don't think Brisbane have one yet. Lohmann could be the forward this year in the Brisbane team that ends up that kind of premium level price. So yeah, one to watch out for.
Moving on, this guy I had in my team reveal that I released the other day. That you guys
Parker.
I've had a few people comment on the Luke Parker selection. Some people are saying that they like it. Other people are saying to back my gut in, which is a polite way of saying, what the fish are you doing? But Luke Parker, look, I think this guy, he's a proud man. He is a proud man, Luke Parker, and he hasn't left the Swans, I think, just fully accepting of his fate that he is now going to be some just sort of player coach, just sitting on the side and clapping for people. I think he still believes that he has more to offer. I do think that he wants to play around the ball still. Yes, he'll have some forward time, half forward time role, but as I said in my team reveal, I don't think this guy is just going to be stuck playing forward. They've added Darling to the forward line. He is going to be a leader in that forward line with premiership experience. They've added Caleb Daniel into the back line to give that experienced leadership. And I think Luke Parker is going to be put in the midfield to provide midfield leadership from someone who's come from a terrific culture over there at the Bloods to really take Wardlaw under his wing, the Sheezes of the world. And I can see this guy playing a defensive role. He is better than Powell, I think, in that position. Yes, Powell is younger than him, but I'd put Parker ahead of Powell in that midfield mix personally, of course. I'm not just saying that out of bias because he's in my Supercoach team. Luke Parker, we saw in the grand final what he had to offer. 42% CBAs, 94% time on ground. He was the only one to really feature in that grand final who fired a shot. So I think he's a proud man who will feature in the midfield and still be value.
Yeah, definitely. I guess kind of fits alongside McCrae, Bailey Smith, and a few others where you probably pick 2 of the 4 guys that we've mentioned today. So Luke Parker, mate, kicked 3 goals in the grand final. I think, as you say, Joe, he'll feature. But similar to a few other guys in Jai Simpkin, a lot of players stealing points off each other. So maybe someone gets injured, Luke Parker in your team.
Mate, Parker's better than Simpkin. What? Are you kidding me? Finish us off with Philippou.
He's not someone that I had in my Supercoach team last year. And there were points in the game, points in the season, where I was hating myself for not owning Matheus Philippou. He's going to break out. If not this year, it is going to be next year. But St Kilda need good midfielders, Joe. And from memory, he had some decent scores in his lineup. So we see a few more hundreds and a lot less 40s and 50s. Matheus Philippou is the way to go. St Kilda did not bring in enough midfielders. They were after Luke Parker and a few others. They got McCrae, but they need to play his type of player through there. He's explosive. He can kick goals. He can run. He can tackle, Joe. Look at those tackle numbers, 9s and 5s and 13. Mate, what else do you want? He's a forward player for 313K.
Yeah, Roster Boss did it right. You can see that they want to play him in the midfield. You can see the CBA's there. He wasn't getting it done. They sent him to the VFL, find his feet, get that confidence, that belief in himself to really feel like he belongs and show that he is too good for VFL level. He does just that. You see him start to find his feet, 17 disposals, 26, 20, 28, 31. Bring him back to the AFL at that point, and you just see he went bang, 63% CBA, 68%, 57%, and he's reaping the rewards. So he was well coached, well managed, and from that, it's a wonderful springboard into this preseason, training with the mids. He's going to be a mid, and he's going to be a very good player for us in our forward lines for that ridiculous price with the DPP, with the best buy in the game, with the Fremantle Dockers as well. You can't not start him, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we will do a bit of a caveat and say, hey, Caleb Daniel is going to feature in our forward lines. He is cheaper priced, but because he's around 260K, we're going to put him in our cheaper players video. So don't want to see in the comments, where's Caleb Daniel? You guys are off your rocker.
We're not. There is a method to this madness in the same way that Cumming was not in the video with the mid prices in the midfield because he is under 300K. That is the same case for Caleb Daniel, who you absolutely have to have in your team. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you had to hear and see from us today, drop us a like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any players that we haven't discussed that are over 300K in the forward line.
Guys, Supercoach is back. We're back. Excited to put out content almost every day of this preseason. Just here for you guys. So, as we say, stick around. Live streams on Mondays. It's going to be fantastic.
Because here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work. So you don't have to.
You don't have to. Bye for now.
Bye for now.